All right, hello Math 6. Welcome back. I am so excited about our next unit. So we are now going to be studying 3D figures. Hopefully you've heard of 3D before. When we say 3D, we mean 3 dimensions, which means everything that we're studying is going to have length, width, and now height. So we're adding a third dimension. I think the easiest way to kind of picture what's happening in your head is to think of the difference between a normal movie and a 3D movie. So think of a normal movie, everything that's happening is limited to the screen. People can go to the left, right, up, down, but they can't come off the screen. They are limited by 2 dimensions, length and width. But when you go to 3D movies, everything that's happening on the screen can now go left, right, up, down, and it can come towards you. So there's a third dimension or height that is added. That is what's happening with 3D. So instead of just going length and width, we are now adding a height to all of the different figures we're going to be studying. So when it comes to math and 3D figures, we have 2 different types of 3D figures that we want to study. The first is going to be our pyramids. So you can't see that. These little guys that we got. Each of them look just like the pyramids that we have in Egypt. You know, those ancient pyramids that you guys have studied a lot in school, I bet. All of my pyramids have triangles on the side that meet at a certain point or meet at the top. Now, we have different types of pyramid based on the shape of their base. So if you look at my green one, it has a base that's a square. So we would call this a square pyramid. And then if you look at my white one, it has a base that's a triangle. So we would call this a triangular pyramid. Pretty simple. Great. Now, the second type of 3D figures that we're going to study is prisms. Prisms are a little bit trickier in that there's not one base, but there's actually 2. These bases are going to be the shape that we use to name the figure, and they are going to be the 2 sides that are opposite each other in my figure. So if we look at this one right here, we have a triangle that's equal to this triangle. You can think the bottom and the top, or the left and the right, both have a triangle that is equal and opposite. And then for each side of my triangles, we connect them. So they are connected using rectangles. Ooh. So we would call this a triangular prism. Another example of a prism is a box. Peep Cinnamon Toast Crunch, best cereal. Every box is an example of a rectangular prism because we have a bottom and a top that is made out of a rectangle. And then those 2 rectangles are connected on every side. So this would be an example of a rectangular prism. Now, one last thing that's really important to explain 3D figures, or a tool in math that we use to study them a lot, is called a net. The best example of a net in the real world is when you take a box and say you're going to recycle it, because you should always recycle. We then take that box and we flatten it. So we go from 3 dimensions to 2 by flattening it. Breaking your box down and turning it into a 2-dimensional figure is an example of a net. So one more time, we go from 3 dimensions, we unfold our figure and see that it's actually made up of a bunch of other individual rectangles. This flattened 2D figure is called net. We can do that with our pyramids too. So say I take my square pyramid and I unfold it. It's now just 2 dimensions, and we can see that my pyramid was actually made of a rectangle and 4 different triangles. This is my net. Cool? Cool. All right. Those are really big important vocab words for three-dimensional figures. What I want you to do now is there's a picture of the notes on Google Classroom. Take that picture and copy it into your notebook. I want to make sure that we've written notes for everything that was said in this video. So take a picture of the notes. It looks like this. And I want you to copy it into your notebook. After you do that, there is a quick worksheet that I want you to do using all of these ideas. And that's all. Have fun studying 3D figures. I'm really excited once we get the basics of this unit down. We can do some really cool real life things that we're going to do over the next couple weeks. If you have any questions, let me know. Reach out. You can always find me on email. And happy 3D figuring.